Chief Executive of Aston. This is our unveiling to be unveiled formally on the 19th of November. Let me walk you around the car a little bit. I think you all know that Aston aspires to make the most beautiful cars in the world, and it's something we've been doing, I think, reasonably well for a long time. One of the key actions as a result of that is basically choosing upon the platform that you build. And obviously, as you know very well, our major competitor use Audi platforms. We did have an opportunity to use a Daimler platform, but we chose not to. And the reason that we choose not to is because of that desire to create a beautiful car. In a given platform, we think there are basically 96 fixed points. And if you're fixing 96 points, then the degrees of freedom for your designer to make it an original is actually reduced. So the key decision that we made is basically we'll take our own platform and we'll build the car in the way that we build cars, which means a fully aluminum body basically bonded together in the same way that we make our sports cars. And that allows us to honour the golden ratio that we design all our car. Remember the golden ratio, remember Leonardo da Vinci, and broadly those golden proportions of 1/3, 2/3. And you can see that 1/3, 2/3 relationship, 1/3, 2/3 relationship all over the car, which basically allows us to have this timeless beauty. Now, as we go through the car, some key attributes. You see at the front the strongest Aston Martin grille that we've ever produced, probably since the DB5. We wanted to make sure, even though we're moving into this SUV segment, that basically we have an extraordinarily strong face. We also changed incidentally the colour of the badge slightly in order to give a greater contrast to the name, so that when people see the car, and they're going to be a rare car, bear in mind that we're only building about 4,000 a year, that you know what it is. As you go to the rear, you see basically homage being paid to the Vantage, which of course is our racing car. And that comes, if you want, to a second key point, which is in asking Maritn to design the most beautiful SUV that he can, I also asked Matt Becker, our head of ride and handling, to make it ride and feel like it looks. Okay, key attributes of the car. You can see, as in any Aston Martin, you need to have a lot of tension in the skin. It needs to look like an athletic body. And you see that in this particular SUV, we have a lot of tumble bone. This is this dimension here. It tends to shrink the size of the car. This is actually quite a big car, but because the roof line is low, because of this tumble bone, it hides that bulk. But if you look in the back, what you see is a lot of leg room, and this is actually bigger than a Bentayga, even though perhaps it doesn't look like it from the outside. A lot of work went on to particularly ingress and egress. A lot of work working with a lot of clinics, working with the female advisory board that helped us basically try to make sure that this point makes that ingress and egress easy, and that when you're inside the car, that basically you neither feel like you're sitting down like a sports car, nor on it like a horse. So you want to be able to see the four corners of the car very easily. And that perhaps is one of the key attributes of the car, is this ease of ingress and egress. You'll also see other key points like the wraparound door that make sure that this area here, which as you see is basically very flat, is always clean. It's on the inside of the car and not on the outside of the car. And as you look up, you see that we have fitted as standard a full glass roof, making it very airy. So this car was commissioned 4 days after I joined the company, so 4th of October 2014. So you see it's been on a 5-year gestation period. and with that, that mandate to Maritn to aspire to make the most beautiful SUV in the world. As I said, likewise, Matt Becker has been working on the ride and handling, and what we believe that we've delivered here is the best handling car in the segment, which is a tall order because there's some awesome cars out there. To help us do that, we use an e-arc system, so anti-roll control, which allows us to control the posture of the vehicle in the bends. We use an e-diff in order to control the slip of the tyre, and we use a 3-chamber air suspension, basically again to control the ride and comfort. So it doesn't necessarily follow that having a great handling car means it has to be rock solid hard. It doesn't, and I think Matt has basically tuned the suspension superbly to a point where we are sub 8 minutes around and no burring. It's quick. Should come on to engine, of course. Engine is a V8, 4-litre V8, obviously having its origins in the AMG and then the Vantage tuned up. And it gives us that wonderful sound that you'd expect from any Aston Martin. So if its first USP is basically aspiring to that beauty, and its second USP is aspiring to be the best handling car in the segment, the third USP is basically about making it fit your lifestyle. We operate in a very luxury part of the market. Cars are very rare, and they also have to fit your lifestyle. So when you spec this car, you spec these cars from the ground up. There are billions of combinations of things that you can do with it, including, for example, the ski pack, including, for example, the school pack, including, for example, the dog pack. But those are things that are collected together that you can bring into the car. But as with any Aston Martin, you dress the car as you would a Savile Row suit, and you can spec the leather or the Alcantara according to your particular tastes. It's worth reiterating that when you buy any Aston, what you're buying is a handmade piece of art. We make them entirely by hand. To give you the example of the seats here, we use hide coming from Scotland. Always comes from one particular area. It's long-haired cattle because they don't get bitten by the mosquitoes, and we use those hides, and they're hand sewn in the factories. It's always a nice touch, I think, if you come around the factory, you'll see that it's predominantly ladies that are sewing the hides. They sign the back of the hide, so you never actually see it, but it shows pride in work that they sign it and then put a little hieroglyphic in there in terms of which line sewed the hide and which month it was sewn in. Likewise, anything that you see in the cabin, you see wood. This is wood that's milled from solid. So we very much work on the authenticity. And on this particular spec, you've got a woolen spec of trim, which is quite unusual. Perhaps the most important car for us in the century, insofar as it's our first venture outside of the traditional sports car look, and obviously it's a car that is being born out of a brand new factory in South Wales with a brand new workforce of employing 750 people. So really quite a key car for us. Thank you. It's an opportunity for you to walk around the car and jump in it and have a look and let me know what you think. Thank you very much.